Hello friends, welcome back to House of Props. This week I'm going to show you the process I used to make this Agamemnon helmet from the upcoming Odyssey movie coming out this summer, completely out of EVA foam. First off, I want to apologize to you for being gone for so long. As many of you know, my day job is at a university where I'm the scenic artist, and there has been a virus floating around, and of course I ended up catching it. So I've been out of commission for a bit. But I'm completely over it now, so let's head to the shop and get started. Two part A's get cut out of 6mm foam, and on these edges there needs to be a bevel on the rear. So to do that, I'm using a 180 grit sanding drum on my Dremel. I have the Dremel speed set to 8, and I'm holding the drum at a 45-degree angle to the foam and run over the area with a couple of passes to ensure an even bevel. Once finished, I apply some contact cement to the edges of the large seam. Once the cement is evenly spread, I speed up the curing process by using my heat gun on low. I have found the happy spot to be the point where the cement loses its wet shine, and once it's ready, the edges can be firmly pressed together. If the cement is too wet or too dry, they won't stick together properly. Now, instead of lining the edges up precisely, the bottom of the seam needs to slightly stick out past the top part, just like what I'm doing here. The seam on the rear can have its edges aligned precisely once the contact cement has been added and properly cured. Then the two A pieces can be attached to each other along the center seam, and again, these edges align so the outer visible surface is smooth. Up next is part B, which has already had its edges beveled, and these fit into part A just like this. But first, we want to warp part A on each side right about here, so heat the area up with the heat gun. While I do that, I would really appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's completely free to you and will help my channel grow. Plus, if you click the notification bell, you can customize your notifications so you never miss a project. Thank you. Once the foam is warm, you want to press your thumb in like this, and using your other hand, curve the foam up from the back, just like what I'm doing here, and then hold until the foam cools back down, and it'll hold its shape. Then part B can be attached. The edges at the nose guard align to each other, but on the rest, part B needs to stick slightly above the edges on part A, so that once it's in place, it looks like this. Then go ahead and repeat on the other side. Part C is beveled and prepped with contact cement and inserts behind part B, so the edge of C ends about middle of the eye socket. Part D attaches here so that the edges of A stick out, but D aligns with the edges of B. You'll notice how the helmet is really starting to curl in, but don't worry, this will be fixed as we go along. Part E aligns to the edge under D and A like so. Part F is thin and has its bevel and cement so it can be attached to the edges of D just like this. Part G I have purposely made big in order to put under the edge of the cheek area and then trace the placement. Once I'm happy, I trim away some of the excess, and then it can be glued into place so the edges of the unit follow the line. This piece will help flatten out the curl if you keep the helmet unit flat when attaching. Once glued, I heat the G pieces on the back and lightly curl them and hold them in order to remove the curling that has been happening around the eye sockets. Next up, I take one part H and part I gets glued onto the center curve just like this. Then part J can be attached to the bottom edge of part H. This piece of part K gets attached to the rear like so. The other part K gets some channels cut into its sides like this, and then it can be folded and glued into place at the front of the crest unit. The channels help it bend correctly to fit the profile. Then the second part H can be attached to the side to close up everything. Part L is cut, and I made mine by using 10mm and 6mm foam. This then gets glued to the bottom of the crest unit so the fronts align exactly. Part M gets glued to the top of the helmet unit, then the crest gets mounted on so the front of Part L sits back 2.5 inches from the front point of Part M. To add some trim details, I cut lengths of 6mm foam at a 1/4 inch width and rounded over on one side. These pieces get attached to the part H's around the outside in the areas where parts I and J are on the inside. Some small pieces get added to the front like so and to the rear. Then using my Dremel, I'm just rounding the corners and evening off the areas where the individual pieces meet. Next is part N, which is a piece of 6mm foam rounded over to match the profile in the template. This gets glued over the ear area, around the back, and over the other ear. Then I use the Dremel to bevel the ends down to create a subtle blended edge. Part O gets this edge rounded over and a bevel at this end, so the piece will sit nicely onto the cheek guard. At this point, I switch to a smoothing stone on my Dremel, and I'm lightly going over the seams and edges. This tip will just lightly remove some of the foam in order to make the edge look less like they've been cut by an X-Acto knife, and also even out any slight unevenness. Next, I create the 28 small vertebrae that sit on part L. To make them, I'm using foam clay, and I roll 2 balls to match the template. Then I roll an oblong ball to match the center oval. Now the balls can be attached to this oval. I slightly make one end pointed and sit it on the oval, then using a sculpting tool, press and blend the two together and use the end of the tool to create a divot in the top. The same can happen to the second ball as well. Then I take a small piece of clay, make a cone shape, and attach this to the front of the center oval. These need to sit overnight to fully dry, and then they can be attached to both sides of part L like so. Part P consists of 2 pieces of 10mm foam. These will make the crest, and to attach, I'm going to be using CA glue. I'm only attaching at the bottom because the top needs to flare out to create the right shape. And to help with the flare, the wedge shape of part P can be glued into the front of the crest just like this. Then the 6mm foam piece of part P can be glued into the top to seal up the crest. Don't worry about the opening in the back, that will get filled later. Next, I take an X-Acto knife and score a bunch of lines on the side of the crest to create a brush looking texture. You don't want to slice all the way through, you're just scoring, and you'll see why shortly. Once all sliced, take the heat gun and turn it on low, then waft over the lines. The heat will cause them to open up slightly, giving the illusion of hundreds of bristles sticking up. To create the illusion of the top of bristles, I use this cone tip on my Dremel and punch a bunch of random tiny holes in the surface. When painted, this will help sell the look of brush-like bristles. Part Q is made by gluing 3 layers of 10mm foam together. The edges need to be rounded over, and to remove large chunks of EVA foam quickly, I like to use a meat carver. It works great and faster than using a Dremel to remove all the foam. Then I use the Dremel to refine the shape. By using the meat carver first, it also reduces the amount of foam dust that is generated. Then I scored part Q and hit it with the heat gun to open the lines. This will then be glued onto the crest just here, and the hole at the rear of part P can be filled with foam clay. But before attaching, we want to add the vertebrae around part Q. These are part R, and the 4mm foam pieces are a generic length that can be trimmed to fit around the circumference of part Q at the 8 locations, and I'm just attaching these with some CA glue. Once those are in place, the fins in part R can be glued to the sides of the strips like so. Next, I use the foam clay to bulk up the fins and add some more dimension to the 4mm foam strips on the front and the back, and these will help cover the seams in the rear. This is what mine is looking like, and now I just have to let it dry before attaching it to the rear of the crest, and again the hole in the crest can now be plugged with foam clay. Next, I heat seal the entire helmet. This causes the pores in the foam to shrink, making the foam surface more suitable for receiving paint. To help hide seams, I like to use Quick Seal Plus. To apply it, I smear it into the seams with a palette knife or my finger and blend and smooth it by dipping my finger in water and evening it out. Now I'm only applying this to seams I want to hide. The ones on the face that were offset from each other we want to embrace. Once the quick seal is dry, the helmet can be sprayed with a flexible primer like this Plasti Dip. I like to spray two decently heavy layers and let the first sit for 30 minutes before spraying the second. Then I let it cure overnight to ensure zero tackiness. Then I mixed a dark navy blue and thinned the paint with rubbing alcohol and paint all of the helmet except the crest hair and the vertebrae. I'm pouncing to avoid brush marks, and alcohol helps the paint settle and then evaporates quickly so the paint doesn't drip or run. Once that blue is dry, I mix a slightly darker version that I'm going to use as a shadow color. This I brush on and then rub and buff with a paper towel to create subtle shade variations on the surface. The hair of the crest and the ponytail get based in a jet black, and the same black can be used to base the vertebrae. And for the last step, I took some metallic gold enamel and highlight the accentuated seams and painted all the vertebrae. So the final result looks like this. And like that, Agamemnon's helmet is finished. This was a fun project to work on. Creating the face with the different facets was a bit of a challenge, but I think I managed to reduce it to a simple technique. And I can't wait to see more of this helmet in the film version when it comes out. I made the helmet to fit a 23-inch circumference head, but extra padding can be added to accommodate a wide variety of wearers. If you want to make one for yourself, a link to the template is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with all your friends and family, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day. And remember, if you are building any of my builds or using any of my templates, feel free and tag me at Haas of Props on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok because I would really like to see your fantastic work. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.